It's the 3 secrets to selling your home for the most money that buyers don't want you to know. Philip Ma here with eXp Realty. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 3 secrets to selling your home for the highest possible price. Regardless if you're selling your home now or sometime in the future, if you stick with me, by the end of this short video, you'll be ahead of 99% of all other homeowners thinking about selling their home. I'm going to explain these secrets using a real case study from a home I sold in Cupertino here in Silicon Valley. Now, this particular home was originally listed by another agent. It sat on the market for 59 days and didn't receive a single offer. When I took over the listing, we repositioned it in the marketplace and it sold in 14 days for $150,000 over the asking price. I'm going to show you exactly how the 3 secrets were applied to turn this listing around. Now, you may be asking, why did I make this video? It's simple. My goal is to give you a real behind-the-scenes look into how I'm able to get my clients' homes sold for a price they need or more, and why so many of their homes fail to sell at all. You owe me nothing, but when you're ready, my goal is to one day earn the opportunity to interview for the job of selling your home. And if you stick with me to the end of this video, I have a special gift for you. This is something that banks will pay me $500 for, and you're going to get it 100% for free. Let's start with something simple, then we'll get a bit more advanced. The driver of home prices is obviously supply and demand. If supply is low and demand is high, you get a higher price for your home. On the contrary, if supply is high and demand is low, you get a lower price. Everybody knows that. The question is, how do we create a situation where we have more demand for your home than supply, regardless of what's going on in the market? The answer involves secret number 1, price bracketing. Let's say the potential buyers for the house are searching in a range between $2 million and $3 million. When we look at how buyers search for homes, this is what they do. They go onto their favorite real estate website like Zillow, Redfin, or Realtor.com, and on that site, they search for properties for sale in whole numbers. Like you can see on the screen, buyers looking for a home around $2.5 million might search for homes between $2 million and $2.5 million, or between $2.5 million and $3 million. This is very common. What buyers don't do is search for properties in odd numbers. They would never search for homes with random numbers like 2.499888 to 2.999 million. They would never do that. Let's say the home was listed for $2,499,888. This is a massive mistake, and here's why. The seller's looking for a $2.5 million buyer, right? Well, like we just talked about, buyers are searching for properties on real estate websites in whole numbers. What if a buyer is searching for homes between $2.5 million and $3 million? This poor home seller doesn't even show up in that buyer's search. They may never be aware of it. And according to a study done by the National Association of Realtors, more than half of home buyers found the home they purchased by looking online. This is why I recommended to my seller in the case study to list his house with a whole number. By listing it at 2.5 million instead of 2.499, we are doubling the amount of demand on the home. The house would now show up in search results for buyers who are looking between 2 million and 2.5 million, while also showing up in search results for buyers who may be looking between 2.5 million and 3 million. By simply pricing on a whole number on a major buyer bracket, the seller is able to double the demand for their home. And what do we know about demand? As demand goes up and supply goes down, it drives the price of the home up. Now that we understand price bracketing, the next big mistake that agents and sellers make is how they position the home in the marketplace. And that brings us to secret number 2, positioning. Looking at our case study as an example of how to position a home in the marketplace, let's assume the property value was roughly around 2.5 million. The first step of positioning is to understand where the demand is. Which price ranges have the most buyer activity? Here's how I break it down. First, I define the total addressable market, or TAM for short. Let's say buyers shopping between $2 million and $3 million. Then I split that into $250,000 brackets, because that's how buyers search. From there, I look at supply and demand in each bracket. What's for sale and what's actually selling. And within each price bracket, buyers are comparison shopping. Keep in mind that homes within a certain price range are probably going to have similar bedroom, bathroom count, and square footage. At the same time, each home will have certain features and benefits that make it more or less attractive within a certain price bracket. If one home has recent remodeling updates and another is more dated, then the first one will stand out as the obvious choice if the two homes are priced about the same. Makes sense, right? Now, when you lay supply and demand side by side, the opportunity becomes obvious. The strongest demand is in the lower and middle price brackets with very little competition. Meanwhile, the higher price range is crowded with listings. So instead of competing with everyone else, we position the home where buyers are most active and inventory is limited. That's how we landed on 2.5 million. Maximizing exposure to demand while minimizing competition. Now let's layer in what I said about features and benefits of specific properties. Within each price bracket, buyers are comparing similar homes. And the home that feels like the best value becomes the obvious choice. By pricing at 2.5 million, we position this home as the best value in the 2.5 to 2.75 million range, while still attracting buyers from the lower bracket who may be willing to stretch their budget. At the same time, we avoid competing in the higher price range where there's more inventory and stronger competition. So we're doing two things at once: maximizing exposure to demand and positioning the home as the obvious choice. And when that happens, you create competition. And that's what drives the price up. That brings us to secret number 3, time versus money, which ties the first two concepts together to provide a holistic pricing strategy. In real estate, time on the market directly impacts price. Homes that sell quickly tend to sell for more. Homes that sit tend to sell for less. In this particular market, the average home sells in about 16 days, at roughly 6% over the asking price. But once a home sits longer than that, buyer psychology can shift. Put yourself in the buyer's shoes. If you walk in the first weekend and love the home, you know you have to write a strong offer. But if that same home has been sitting for, say, 60 days, now you're thinking, what's wrong with it? Now the buyer has the leverage. That's the position you never want to be in. You want buyers competing for your home, not your home competing for buyers. And that's the time versus money principle. As buyer psychology shifts over time, so does your leverage on price. Price bracketing and positioning are designed to generate demand quickly, so you stay on the seller side of the time versus money principle. That's how you maximize your sale price. Let's go back to our case study. When the home was originally listed by another agent, it was priced at $2.799 million. It sat on the market for almost 60 days and didn't receive a single offer. And if you think about the 3 secrets we just discussed, none of them were applied. First, the price wasn't aligned with how buyers actually search for homes online. A number like $2.799 million doesn't capture the maximum demand from buyer search brackets. Second, the property wasn't positioned where demand was strongest relative to supply. And as a result, the third factor kicked in: time. The longer the home sat on the market, the less inclined buyers were to write strong offers. When I took over the listing, we applied the strategy we just discussed. We priced the home at $2.5 million, a whole number that captured 2 major buyer brackets, representing about 63% of the demand in the market, while only competing with about 20% of the available supply. Over the next 2 weekends, we had a strong flow of buyers through the open houses. And even though the home didn't show perfectly, the seller chose not to stage or update it. The demand we created resulted in multiple offers. After 14 days on the market, the home sold for $2.65 million, $150,000 over the asking price. And that result came from applying price bracketing, positioning, and the time versus money principle. So what's the next step? As I mentioned earlier, I'd like to offer you something that most sellers never receive before putting their home on the market. It's called a home sales strategy analysis. In this report, I'll show you 4 things. First, a custom pricing strategy designed to maximize the sale price of your home. Second, a supply and demand analysis showing where buyers are actively searching in today's market. Third, an active competition review so you can see exactly which homes you would be competing with if you decided to sell. And finally, a seller profit estimate so you'll have a clear picture of how much you could potentially walk away with after the sale. Normally, this type of analysis is something I prepare only for my listing clients. And in some cases, banks will pay around $500 for this type of report. But if you'd like me to prepare one for your home, you can request it completely free. All you need to do is click on the link in the description below this video, and you'll go to a landing page where you can provide your contact information. Then I'll begin preparing the analysis for you. Whether you're thinking about selling soon or sometime in the future, this report will give you a clear understanding of how to position your home to sell for the highest possible price. I'm Philip Ma with eXp Realty, and I look forward to talking with you very soon.